Connected.
Are the problems and destructive anxieties of today tearing you apart? If there was ever a time to readjust your priorities and refocus your vision, it's now. Join Pastor Wayne Sampson on the Vision for
Send a message from you, so
every Monday from 5 to 6 a.m. right here on Power 102 FM. Jesus is the only one who can give you peace in the midst of today's storm.
The Ballpark World Cup. Ballpark becomes Russia, the biggest seven-a-side World Cup competition to hit the Caribbean. 4 divisions, under 12, under 21, open and over 35. If you are wondering who you are representing, things got sweeter. June 8th at the park is draft day. When your team plays at the World Cup, you play at the park. Which country will you represent? $300 per player. Replica kit included. 10 players minimum per team. For more information about registration or the competition,
telling myself hello.
201-305
hey, hi, Gary.
728-5511.
So Alicia came back. I see Kiki and Anne came back. Izzy came back.
Presents State of the Nation. 1 full hour of the latest news from 12 noon to 1 p.m. Mondays to Fridays, analyzing the major news stories and issues affecting you.
Let's segue into, because I think we have him on the line now, the former Minister of Tertiary Education, whose portfolio included the UTT MP Fazal Karim. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, Andy.
State of the Nation. Good afternoon and welcome to Mr. Conrad Enil. He's the CEO of Eastern Credit Union and former Minister of Energy.
Good afternoon.
We now have the opposition Senator Jelly John, temporary senator on the opposition bench. Good afternoon to you, Ms. John.
Good afternoon.
Hey, my friend Sunil
State
Ramsundar.
of the Nation.
First, we'll be chatting with Director of the Police Complaints Authority, Mr. David West. He's also an attorney at law. Good afternoon, Mr. West, and thank you for joining us right here in Power 102.
Good afternoon, Mr. Richards. Thank you very much for having me.
State of the Nation with your input via the News Power 102 app, text, social media, and live calls. State of the Nation. State of the Nation. Mondays to Fridays, 12 noon to 1 p.m. Only on News Power 102 FM. Online and via the News Power 102 app. State of the Nation. Sexplosion is on Power 102. And now on new days and at new times. The country's most informative sex education program, Sexplosion, is on every Thursday from 7 to 9 p.m. and Fridays from 9 p.m. to midnight with Dr. Raj, the guru of sex in the Caribbean.
A lot of times we think that sex is totally below the waist. It is not below the waist. It starts in the brain. Your largest sex organ that you possess is your brain.
Tune in for discussion on all sexual matters. Sexplosion on Power 102. Empowering you.
Well, I could definitely tell you that when listening to Sexplosion, we are taking sex education where it has never been made for, exclusively on Power 2.1 FM with your host, Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center of St. Augustine. And for those of you who would love to interact with him via the telephone, feel free at 2228255. Also at 612-8255. If you do decide that you want to send him a WhatsApp or a text message, you can also do that on his private mobile, 740-1961. Yeah.
The ladies are going to read some things.
Oh, that's beautiful.
We're back on.
Oh, yes, we're back on track.
We have Mario Joseph, Dr. Clint Mohan.
Speak up into the mic.
Clint Mohan says good night to the boss himself and it's a lot from you over the years. Asha Siparan Singh, Jenny Lakshman, Rishi Das.
No other comments? I thought you said Kiki made a comment about something.
Yeah, that's the one I'm telling you.
Well, yeah, you're telling me, but you have to tell the audience out there.
Kiki says that the Russian girls were better.
I would agree that they're good, but they're not better.
There's a very high standard, are you going to say?
Yeah. somebody asked me if theirs compared to others. I said, well, the typical East Indian one, which is the best for me. Good night, Dr. Raj, Junior Rishi from London. Rishi says, my wife will kill me. I know a lot of men who, I have friends, because of who I am, the wives tell them they can't talk to me.
Why not?
Because of who I am. I'm Dr. Raj, you know. Jennifer says, Jason said that he wants to see all 156 type of vagina.
Oh,
yeah, Jason, you go, boy. You go. When you get a chance, take that call, yeah, before we go further.
Yeah, definitely. Hi, hello, and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, good evening.
Yes, good evening.
This is Harry from Longmanville. I want to compliment Dr. Raj for a very good program. He's speaking with subject and most interesting, I'll tell you. Very, very great job. I was wondering if you were reading out anything, but I think you're not doing that. You're quite wise. As a matter of fact, the controversial issue about different type of sex that came up on the media recently, I was listening. That is Dr. Raj coming out with any defense or anything about it, but he could not, or you could not have directed your comments based on that particular name that they were brought out on the press and all of that. But tonight I'm listening to you, let's say like undercover or in a smart, directed way, speaking about it, about the different type of sex and the church, how they speak about sex as a disadvantage towards that type of sex. And I think that you're doing justice by explaining to us, I mean, technically, about the advantages of the different type of sex and the constraint that people have been faced when they are restricted with different, their wife, their husband, and whatever. I'm telling you that it's very, very interesting. And I have a little note here that I want to ask that, you know, is God really stupid that he put the eyes in a hole so that it cannot get damaged by hitting off a ball? The prostate is placed in a particular spot there. Why did God put it there? I wonder if God is stupid. Dr. Raj, you can tell me about that when I'm finished. I have my radio sort of slow, but I'll put it on after you and you can answer me. And if God is stupid, because I've read many times, I think even in your book and other books, where there's two types of orgasms. One is clitoral and vaginal.
Correct.
The other one, in men, it is the penis and you have the anus.
Yeah,
the
prostate, yes.
And it is said that the most powerful one in a woman is the clitoral
orgasm. Yes.
In a man, it's the what you call
prostate.
the prostate orgasm.
Yeah.
And I wonder if God is really, really totally stupid. You can tell me when you finish. The other question is...
Before you go further, let me make it very clear, abundantly clear. I have no problem with persons' sexuality and their sexual choice. However, if they were born that way, if they were conditioned that way, I've been defending that ever since I've been on the radio. So I don't need to make a position on that. I am very clear about that. I have never judged persons based on their sexuality.
Technically, so people who can also students, people who are interested, we're able to understand you're speaking about continuing from the issues that were talked up on the television and read on newspapers within the last few weeks in Trinidad. You could not have said this word by word. Like the Holy Scriptures, for example, the Holy Ramayana is written in parables. And Tulsidas, when he did it in form of parables because what happened is that the Mughals were ruling India with the sense that today students of today will understand that they understand and break the parables up. So you are doing it
very good. I am glad you said that.
That you're bringing it out and telling us, you know, that men or people can enjoy sex in different ways, like all the different postures in the temples of India. But we are not really, we are restricted by many things. Dr. Raj, the other thing, God is not stupid, but I want to ask you that, like 12,000 nerve endings, 24,000 is said. In the anus section of a man, how many nerves are there, if I may ask?
Well, it's equivalent to the clitoris.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'll take a note of that. And the other thing, Dr. Raj, can I ask you one more question?
Sure.
And so much I can ask, but I'll leave for other people.
No, but I want to correct you. You see, you're kind of trying to put words in my mouth when you ask me if God is not stupid, and then you come in and say God is not stupid. Maybe I have a different answer to that. Right. I just always tell people that, you know, see, especially when person comes to convert me with religion, I just ask them if God's stupid, you know. I just ask them that first question when they come to talk about conversion. I say, well, God put me here as a Sanatan Dharma, a practitioner of Sanatan Dharma. You want to tell me God's stupid? That I have to change that?
Yeah, very good, very good.
If God put you here as a Catholic, you are a Catholic. If He put you here as a Muslim, you are a Muslim. Practice your religion and practice it well. Don't try to convert me to believe what you believe.
You know, I admire you for speaking that stance where you are a Hindu. I am as well, and I tell you that you're very firm, and I admire your stance for that. You keep it up. One last question can I ask, please?
Sure.
Can a man enjoy anal sex for 100 years and over age? And if he's physically fit, that is, but just like, for example, let's say the vagina in a woman would never die, let's say. A man would go get old and penis will drop and all of that. But in a man, if he's physically fit, can he enjoy anal sex for all his life, like 100 years and over, may I ask, please?
Yes, because once there's no damage to the prostate, once he doesn't have a swollen prostate, he can.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And the anus doesn't get so slack that things will fall out.
Even if penis gets cannot make it after time, and
correct,
that's it dead or whatever, that anal section can still be activated and for
correct,
a long, long time.
Yes, because that gland, it is a man's G-spot. A man's G-spot is in his anus. Thank you very much for your contribution.
I enjoy the program. I'm listening. Thank you very
much. You made a wonderful
yes.
contribution, and I like that. I like when people analyze things and analyze it to their satisfaction, not to my satisfaction. Not to my satisfaction, analyze it to your satisfaction and understand what I'm trying to portray and what I'm trying to put out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I remember two ladies walking into my yard once, my Jundi flying there. Walk past my Jundi, come down to me and I say, I want to tell you about a word of God. I say, when you walk in my yard, what did you see? She say, what? I said, didn't you see two Jundi there? I make sure I have my Satnarayan Jundi and my Hanuman Jundi, red and white. So I said, let me ask you a question. What is the greatest thing you know? They say, God. I said, well, God may be a Hindu, you know, and God is stupid. So you want to come here and tell me that God is stupid, I must change? They walk right back out my yard. Why do you need to convert me?
Yeah.
Why? But religion has been farming Hindus from time immemorial. When other religion came about, they found Hindus here, and they've been farming Hindus and converting Hindus.
Okay.
And only the weak ones will change. And who vex, vex. Who vex, vex. As I make that statement. Only the weak one change. Because when the Mughals went to India, they came with two things, you know. The Quran and a sword, you know. Either you choose the Quran or the death, you know. Like the sword, you know. How much million Hindus remain? My forefathers do that and sacrifice and do that, and I must change? You mad? You mad? I can't face my nirvana after that. Who changed? Change. You were weak. And whoever feel offended, you know why you're feeling offended, because what I'm saying is the truth.
Yeah.
Those who changed and converted because they were weak. The true Sanatanists remain Sanatanists to this day. And I make no apologies for saying that. I say it on this program and I'll say it forever in my life. I make no apologies for that, and understand that. I am who I am, and I have lineage that goes back since time immemorial. Not like the king and queen of England that they could check back 200 years and know, you know. Since time immemorial. When they check my son's DNA, you know what they put? 100%. 100%, not 99%, 100%. So, anyway, back to what I was talking about. So the clitoris, what you were saying here is true. Well, a man's sexual energy emanates from the prostate. That's the base chakra. Not the penis, not the anus, the prostate. That gland down there that is called the prostate gland, that is your base chakra. That is the chakra that creates energy. And that energy, as I talked about the Kundalini before, and all these things are in our scriptures, emanates through the spine up and down. The energy goes up to the brain and back down. Up and down. That's what it does. So that transference of energy is through the different chakras.
Okay.
And if people read, and you see, when the problem with civilization is that when they read these ancient Hindu philosophy, they feel that they need to convert, but Hindus don't convert nobody, you know. You know that. We cannot convert anyone, you know. We cannot condemn anyone, you know.
But on the other hand, people try to convert Hindus.
Oh, they try. They farm Hindus. They farm Hindus. They don't farm anybody else. They don't farm anybody else, but they farm Hindus. They go to India and try to farm them. Yeah. They do it in Trinidad. They farm Hindus. Nobody else. And I'm damn blasted vexed about that. Totally vexed about that. Only Hindus they farm. They go into Hindu village and they set up a thing and start to convert people. But only the weak does convert anyway. You're weak. You're telling God, you're slapping God in the face. Of course, people say you have free will. But free will to tell God he's stupid? You have free will to tell God he's stupid? You have to be mad. Now, you could accept the ways of Hinduism and still be a Christian, you know, and still be a Muslim, and still be a Jew. You could be, it's the only religion where you could be a Jew Hindu, a Muslim Hindu, a Christian Hindu.
Yeah.
It's the only religion that allows that, you know, because we're not a religion, we're a way of life. From time immemorial. So you could accept the thing. But people believe that when you start reading that, you need to convert. We don't do that because we don't do it. We don't ever say, well, here what? Come, let me bless you and change you into a Hindu, you know. That can't happen. You accept the way of life and you continue with it. So that's why the philosophy of it, the yoga, what I was talking about, the yoga and the tantra and all those things, come from there. It comes from time immemorial. It comes from the beginning of time. And it's there. So if you understand these things, you'll understand. You see, the same thing as I told you. When persons are afraid of a prostate examination, our Prime Minister also made the point of somebody saying that they want nobody digging up in the bottom. But how else are you going to reach the prostate? You can't take a rod from on top and go down. The only way you reach in the prostate there is no more intense orgasm. A man could have an orgasm from prostate milking as the sweetest sexual feeling is that. Prostate milking. Anyway, like tantra and whatnot, we're getting back to the clitoris. With the woman, you see how much advantage they have over us. They have that area of their vagina, not the vagina. Well, forget the vagina because the vagina is a very sensitive area. You have the lips of the vagina. You have an inner lip and an outer lip. You have the vaginal passage. You have the Y spot. All women have something called a Y spot. That is behind the cervix. The Grafenberg spot, which is the G spot, is at the roof of the vagina. There's a school of thought that that doesn't exist, but I could tell you it does exist. And if anybody tell you it doesn't exist, they really never finger a vagina good enough.
It exists.
No, but any woman who has been fingered properly, who have experienced the joy of that finger in their vagina and that special spot when it is touched, will tell you the intensity of it.
Okay, well, what we are going to do is go back to the lines. Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening. Hello.
Good night.
Yes, good evening.
Good evening.
Greetings. And Bye-bye. This topic is a topic that's supposed to bring experience where you come from, and you're supposed to share your knowledge to the world. For you all that speak about bye-bye. You can speak about something, but you are not gain, you are gain no knowledge.
Yeah, I understand exactly what he's saying there.
You understand him?
He makes sense. But to his own image and likeness.
I see my cousin Rishi's on. How are you doing, Rishi? I haven't seen you for a while. Dr. Raj, good night. I'm 48 years. My vagina have burned. What could cause that? Oh, bumps, sorry. My apologies. Have bumps. Well, I don't know your vagina, so I really can't say. What kind of bump? What is causing it? It could be an infection. It could be hair growth. It could be many different things. So I don't like, it could be allergy, yes. It could be, sometimes you're allergic to condom. I don't know if she's having sex with condom or without.
Yeah, it could be any,
Toys, yeah. There are chemicals that they put in toys, especially cheap Chinese toys. You have cheap toys and you have good toys. The cheap one have a chemical that lets out from it, and that is burn your vagina like fire, you know.
That's the one that look like a hard piece of
No,
plastic?
no. It could be anything, because Chinese could make anything. They could make one looking like you. No, serious. The hard plastic does not emit anything out of it. It's the soft jelly-ish one.
Okay.
But if it's the cheap Chinese one, you're in trouble.
And you must know those, eh? It always have a little tag to the bottom, made in China.
Chinese like to put that in everything.
Yeah, everything.
It's inscripted at the bottom where the fleshy part meets the hard metal. Tiny writing. Made in China.
Yeah.
That's what it sounds like when you read it. So, just having fun. That's the entertaining part of it. But when you talk about the clitoris now, the clitoris is not something you go at straight away when you're performing oral sex. Whenever you're performing oral sex on a woman, you make sure you work the area around the clitoris, the mon venus, that area, that bump, the Bombay, at the top.
Yes.
You go to the lips of the vagina. You go down to the perineum, which is that area, what they call the chin rest, between the vagina and the anus. That's the perineum. You go back up, touching the glands on the side, and then you go to the clitoris. If you go to the clitoris right away, it could be extra sensitive. So you don't go to the clitoris right away. You go to those areas and then you go to the clitoris.
You save the best for last.
Yes, not only you saving the best for last, if you go to the clitoris straight away, it becomes oversensitized.
Okay.
So the woman could be pushing your head away and you feel she trying to pull you in.
Yeah.
And she could be doing this.
Yeah.
Get away. Don't.
Back up.
So you actually have that part of the vagina that is dedicated to sex. That's why in some countries, based on their culture and religion, they capture these gills and they hold on these gills and cut it off.
Cut it off?
Tickle it. And sometimes they use a razor blade to cut it off. It's not surgically done, you know. It is not surgically done. Female circumcision in these countries not surgically done. If they have to break a bottle and cut it off, they break a bottle and cut it off.
Yeah, but would that affect the feelings of a woman while having?
Yes, Junior, that's why they cut it off. That is why they cut it off, because they want to tell you, woman, you should not enjoy sex. This is culture and religion, you know. This is culture and religion in certain African countries. That's what they do. They cut it off. Ask Imam, the model.
Yeah.
Hers were cut off.
Okay.
Yeah. That's what they do. And she was from Sudan, I think.
Sudan, yeah. Yes.
That's what they do. So when you hear these persons talking about female circumcision and whatnot, how bad it is, advocacies against female circumcision, and they themselves just cut off their son foreskin in the country, which has nothing to do with religion, you know.
Yeah.
They themselves, the same women who has been marching up and down New York with placard against circumcision for female, their sons are circumcised, you know. And circumcision should only be done for religious reason. No other reason for circumcision. So you understand the hypocrisy. You remember I said the word hypocrisy? There's hypocrisy in our way of life. If you decide to circumcise based on your religious belief, there's nothing wrong with that. That is your religious belief, that is your sacrifice. That is what you choose to do. The Jews and the Muslims do that. Right. So that is your way of sacrificing, no problem, because that is part of your religion. But why it is the ordinary American going into the hospital, they just chop it off? Because there's Jewish doctors doing it, that is why. And there was a whole advocacy in the 60s, 40s, 50s, 60s, to chop it off, take off the foreskin, because it was mainly Jewish doctors, until somebody got enough sense and said, why are we taking this thing off? Why are we doing this? That's why the majority of men you see in porn have no foreskin.
Yeah.
No, when I talk, I want people to understand this. I have nothing against other religion. As a matter of fact, I find it beautiful. I'm not a bigot. I have friends of belonging to all religion and whatnot. But you see, for them you come to attack me and my religion.
Well,
I will lick your hands down, and I'll show you all the faults of yours.
I know that for a fact. Yeah.
No, I will do it. I'll mash you up because I studied it. If you love something, you have to study it. You have to look into it. You have to understand it. You have to understand. You have to understand also the philosophy behind it. Not only the book thing, but the philosophy behind it. You have to understand that. You have to understand where it started and why.
Yeah. Well, I know they can't tie you up in when it comes to religion.
So that's what I tell you. But I love all. As a matter of fact, I will go into a church and have more respect more than anybody else. Because I love it. I used to sing in imams. But that does not mean to say I wanted to be that. Because I don't believe in that. The conversion that is.
Oh dear.
I believe in respecting all. And I want people to understand that. So I don't want anybody to say I condemn in any religion or anything like that. That is not me. I have a brother-in-law who is a Muslim. I have a brother-in-law who is a Catholic. We get along fine. We'll have our talk. We have our little argument, I think. But because of the love we have for one another, we could be like that.
Oh yeah, well yeah.
We could be like that. That's the difference. So, with women, you have women who have a dedicated part of their body for sex. Men have that dedicated part, but it is inside the anus. That is our dedicated part. That's why anal intercourse, if properly done, could be very stimulating for men. But of course, not all men are going to do that. As a matter of fact, I know some women complain that if they only touch their boyfriend on the buttocks, first thing they say, I'm not gay, don't touch me there. Because they feel good. No, because they feel good.
Now, watching family expression there.
Because family had that experience. Because you feel good there, you feel that if I feel good in that area, it equates to being gay. It does not. It is a sensitive part of your body when it comes to sexual stimulation. So in sexology, in sexual education, you can tell people that. But the first thing you see, he's a so-and-so man, that's why he's talking about that. That's the first thing I get that all the time. So I was watching them and say, okay, if that is what you want to believe, by all means go ahead and believe.
I could see people thinking like
no, I get that. I get that many times.
Because they're not fully educated.
Because of their ignorance and because of their hypocrisy. You come back to that word. They themselves know that they get a different feeling from that touch. But the hypocrisy in them is if I start enjoying this, it makes me gay. It does not. It makes you a sexual being. And to answer the gentleman's question, God is stupid. We do this. We foolish. We just want to change his design.
Anyway, folks, the King time is now 5 minutes after 11 o'clock. You are on the inside of Sexplosion on Power 2.1 FM with Sexologist, your host, Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center that's in Augustine, where he do treat all sexual dysfunctions. And for those of you who would like to interact with him via the telephone, feel free, 222-8255, also at 612-8255. This program may contain material that is not suitable for children. Parental guidance and therefore advised. Yeah.
I find you looking get very serious.
Yes, very.
Either you get hungry.
We're gonna eat after?
No, it's either she get hungry or she's studying what happened with her clitoris.
Yeah.
Because
no, she's studying her noses tattoo.
Because I only noticed she doing so. Oh, it's
yes,
her toe. I thought it was a little higher up. Let me see her toe up. She bust your toe.
The nail missing, so I was trying to figure out what she was doing with it for it to go missing.
You break your toenail?
No, I like to.
Yeah. Oh, But you ever use your toe to have to finger somebody? Using your toe. So you're toeing somebody.
Yeah.
Well, right. Very pleasure.
So you toe the line.
Junior.
No,
you toe the bottom of the line. This is how you have fisting. You have footing also, you know. Using your foot.
Junior like that.
Yeah, you look like the kind of person that like that.
Foot in. Making me feel like I'm going to a showmaker or something. Anyway, folks, taking our time is now 8 minutes after 11 o'clock. Sexplosion on Power 2.1 FM. And just to remind you once again that there's a change of time for Sexplosion. On a Thursday from 7 until 9 o'clock. Then on a Friday, 9 until 12. With Sexologist Dr. Raj. You got anything there to give us a read?
Yes, Alish Jaman says, good evening, Dr. Raj.
Good evening.
Ria says, hello. Usha Babulal.
Mm-hmm.
Nalini says, good night. Tune on at
Nalini, how are you? I haven't spoken to Nalini in a while.
Feet Truckman is on. Varuna Dial. Sushila Rambajan.
Hey Varuna, how are you?
Nirmala Stars. Keith Watkins. Ryan Dular. Nichelle Rodriguez. Nisha Maraj. Kenny GR. Yvonne Sukram. Naren Vindra Maraj. Dwayne Thomas. Samantha Gucharan.
Yvonne Sukram says good night, Doctor.
Yvonne, how are you, my dear? We haven't heard from Yvonne for a while. A long time.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
it's about the time. Yeah,
Rishi Jagral.
that's my cousin.
Marvin Lau. Sarah Reed.
If anybody make any comment, please read the comment.
Yes.
Because I can't read it from here. Too far.
Roddy Khan. Bharat Sukram. Kiki says, you're preaching.
That's the last.
Yeah.
I'm not preaching, you know. I am expressing myself because I think it's about time that persons who belong to my persuasion stand up and be counted.
Nobody's
stop
trampling you.
and stop letting people trample you.
Yeah.
Stop it. We need to stop that because we don't trample anybody.
You don't try to convert.
We don't trample anybody.
Nobody.
You are free to believe what you want to believe. You are free to serve your master or your Lord in any way you choose to. Do not come and tell me I am wrong.
Yeah. Don't try to convert.
Don't come and tell me I'm wrong.
No.
You can't work with the conversion part, but don't come and tell me I'm wrong either.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
No, because you have you have studied your religion. Anyway, folks, taking our time, it's now 10 minutes after 11 o'clock. The driving force behind sex education exclusively on Power 102.1 FM. Nobody does better what we do best with your host, Dr. Raj Ramnanan of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center out at St. Augustine. Yep.
Yovan says, I'm good. Miss you guys. Paro Ramnanan is on and Rina Bihari Singh.
Very good. I should also qualify that by saying I have no Ramnanan family. Only my father and my brother.
Okay.
We have no extended family named Ramnanan. No. Ramnanan is not our title. We just that was my grandfather's first name. I know there are people out there who claim to be my family one. I was just reminded.
But that's good.
No,
that's good.
There's a guy going about Trinidad and Tobago selling stuff and say that he works for me, he's my brother and whatnot. Ask him for his ID card, take out a picture of him. One guy took out a picture of him and sent it to me. Somewhere in Point 14 or somewhere there. He all over Trinidad because he's getting sales. He's using my name.
Yeah, but he would get,
He's getting sales because he's telling people that he's my brother. I have one brother who lives in Florida. He does not live in Trinidad. That's to start with. And my brother is in a totally different business from my business. That is the second part. The only persons who are my family, are my immediate family that carries Ramnanan, is my father, my brother, my nephew on my brother's side, which is 4 sons, and my son. We have no other Ramnanan family. Our title is Singh, Tilak Singh. So when people come to me and say, boy, I meet your family, so I say, that is not my family, I'm sorry. Don't even say it in joke because these days you have to be very careful.
Yes, you have to be careful. You don't know who is who, Anyway, folks, taking our time, it's now 13 minutes after 11 o'clock. The driving force behind sex education exclusively on Power 102.1 FM. Just to remind you once again that our lines are open for those of you who would love to interact with Dr. Raj. 222-8255. Also at 612-8255. Yeah.
I believe enlightenment and transformation comes from within. You should always strive to be a better human being. That's the first thing. I'll give you a little story. I'm very particular about where I sit in a plane. Very, very particular about it. So I choose my seat, and I usually choose my seat, and I usually will get upgraded. Flying out of Trinidad on Wednesday, I was supposed to sit in my seat, which is an end seat, aisle seat. A gentleman who has an injury came in on the plane. Of course, I got up because he was going to sit in the middle seat. Assisted him in every way I could. He went and he took a long while to sit because he has a serious injury. He sat down. I sat down. The guy who sits now at the end, which is the window seat, he comes on board. But of course, this guy cannot move out for him to go in the seat. So he decided to wait until the passengers come in. Now he's going to take about a cool 3 or 4 minutes to come out of the seat because he took that time to get it in his seat. As a matter of fact, he's using a cane and all that. So I'm assisting him as much as I could. Lo and behold, he said, here what? Let me move to the end. You move in and let the guy sit so that there'll be a smooth transition with people boarding. The gate agent came and she said, okay, hold on like this, I'll do that, and afterwards I'll come and sort it out. She never came. Long story short, I ended flying from Trinidad to United States in a middle seat, which I hate. But, the gentleman who was sitting to my right, we had this long conversation. That's the one who's the farmer and whatnot. But throughout the conversation, the other gentleman there, he was sleeping and whatnot. So after a while, he woke up. So the other guy, he went to sleep. So all of a sudden, he just whispered to me, Sam, do you believe sex is addictive? I say, why you ask me that? He said, I know who you are, you know. I said, and who am I? He said, Dr. Raj. I said, how you know that? He said, well, when I was younger, when we tell our friends and family and things, like we go online. St. Augustine was by you, we used to come online. I said, okay. So we had this long conversation, and lo and behold, he's the cousin of the great Michael Hercules, Commissioner of Prison. Yeah. And from the time he told me that, emotions came into my being, and I told him, I said, that man is a gentleman. Michael Hercules, to me, was one of the greatest souls that walked through this land. I had the pleasure of knowing him personally. I had the pleasure of calling him my friend, and I could say that anytime that he was a gentleman. So we had a nice conversation. Of course, we landed in Miami and whatnot. I assisted him again to get his stuff down and all that, and I left. Because that's my nature. The point is, you have to be a good human being. Although I was uncomfortable at the beginning, because that is not the seat I will sit in, I was totally comfortable in that flight from Trinidad to Miami, 4 hours and 1 minute, because of the 2 gentlemen who sat with me. No, the guy who was sitting to my right, he was cool and calm and nice, spoke about his land and the things that he plants and whatnot. His brother has leukemia, we talk about that, we talk about all kind of things. And then this gentleman, we had the ending conversation now about the great Michael Hercules himself, what he used to do and all that, Mr. Joseph.
But it makes you feel more comfortable, especially if you're having a conversation with somebody and you know the person know who.
Well, not only because of that, but because of transformation. I am not the kind of person that I would say, well, I'm too important and I have to sit down. No. I will not do that. I just like comfort. But that to me is the most uncomfortable. So when I told my wife that story today, she was like, you sat in a middle seat? You? So when the plane landed, when we came back out, just about a couple of hours ago, Roger, who's the man in charge, saw me coming off the plane. He says, so boss, how was the flight? Doc, how was the flight? I said, it was great, man, coming back. I said, but not the one going up. He said, yeah, we have to talk about that. Because he knew what happened. He came on board and he saw what was happening. And he's my friend. So he asked me that. He said, so I said, yeah, he said, we'll talk about that. But the point is that to elevate yourself as a better human being, sometimes you have to go through some discomfort. Sometimes you have to do something that you yourself don't want to do, but you do it to satisfy a situation. The gentleman was not healthy. He couldn't move. As a matter of fact, when he had to come out to go to the restroom, it took about 15 minutes. And this is no exaggeration. And I told him when he came out, I said, you go to the front of the plane and use the bathroom there, because if you go to walk down the aisle to the back of the plane, you're going to take the whole flight.
Wow.
I said, you just walked that short distance, which was only about eight seats to get to the bathroom, as opposed to 32 going back.
Yeah, because you know the first thing will come to your mind when you're thinking in terms of going to a bathroom is the back, eh?
No, but when you sit there, you have to go in the back.
You have to, yeah.
No, the new rules in plane is you have to go where you're seated.
Huh?
Yeah. Since 9/11, they have rules on plane. You can't go in the forward section. No, you can't. You can't cross cabin. They don't allow that. But I told him, I said, you go, if they just tell them, and I will explain to the lady. But she knew, so she didn't tell him anything.
Anyway, folks, taking time, it's now 19 minutes after 11 o'clock. You are making radio an experience by itself. When you are on the inside of Sexplosion on Power 2.1 FM, Sexologist, and your host, Dr. Raj Ramnanen of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center out at St. Augustine. Folks, for those of you who would love to interact with him via the telephone, feel free. 2228255, also at 612-8255. You're listening to a program that's informative, educational, and of course entertaining, exclusively on Power 102 FM. Yeah.
Now, think about this. If I was hoity-toity, if I was egotistical, I would have make a scene out of that and make sure they put me in my right seat, because that's the seat I'm supposed to be. The gentleman there knows me. So let's say I had gotten on badly and make a scene and ask for my seat. What would be his opinion of Dr. Raj after that?
Yeah. Completely negative.
Exactly. And I didn't know he knew me.
No, but I never know, eh? Okay, what we are going to do is go back to the lines. Hello and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Again, Dr. Raj, calling for the second time. Please allow me. I want to just ask, since there's going to be a change in the program, programs like this one that is really, really exceptional, when you're not in the country or so,
could you just stop?
Played at times when you're on a regular.
Yeah, but could you stop? Please stop. Stop. Could you stop? Thank you. Thank you. Hear what? Telling me the value of this program is of no use.
Pardon?
I said, telling me the value of this program is of no use to anyone. Do you know that? No. Let me finish. If you take the time to pick up your phone Monday morning and call management and tell them that, they will do what you request. I have no power over that. Absolutely none.
They're listening as well.
No, they don't. They don't. Friday night?
Can I continue, please?
Yeah, but Friday night they're listening. You pick up the phone on Monday. Don't assume that they're listening. If you think that if the program has that value, your duty is to call them and tell them that. And they will repeat the program, you know.
Yes, thanks very much. Can I continue with that?
Yeah, go ahead now.
I'm just looking at a book here, The Ultimate Guide to Anal Sex for Women by Tristan Coromino. And if you just allow me to read a line or two, please, only very, very long. She's saying here on page 119, chapter 12, and she's touching it, although the book is based on anal sex for women, she's touching a bit on anal sex for men, and she said, let me admit my bias about male anal pleasure right off the bat. She's saying that anal sex is one of the greatest gifts a man can give himself or his partner. First, there's the purely physical prize that awaits him when he's on the receiving end of anal sex. Those nerve endings, that sensitive tissue, and the unique prostate stimulation. So can I just ask you one other thing, please? That you said that it's like 24,000 nerve endings in the anus of a man. I want to ask that how much in a woman, and if I've read as well where by massaging the what you call the sphincter muscle, those nerve endings there in a man, it directly energizes or stimulates the prostate in the man. Not, so can it be the same sensitivity was good for a woman, or a man has the advantage where anal sex is concerned? Please, can I listen to
the only advantage with a man? The only advantage with a man is because he has the prostate. It's the same thing with a woman. It's the same thing with a woman. The only problem is that when you mention the word anal sex, most of the time, women and men clinch up.
Yeah.
So you got to know what to do to stimulate the anal passage, the sphincter muscle, the outer and inner sphincter muscle, to relax the person enough for penetration.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And if the person have had a bad experience with anal intercourse, which most women who have tried it have had a bad experience, the first thing they do is clamp up. So it's not going to be pleasurable.
Very impossible
No.
to get.
But I don't want to make this an anal sexual program. Not tonight.
Yeah.
If that is it. And again, I keep asking, you see, this is the problem I have with my listeners. I keep asking people, tell me a topic you want me to discuss. Send it to me to my phone, 7401961. It is my personal number. A lot of people don't believe that. They still be calling the number. Is this Dr. Raj? Yes, it is me. It is my personal number. Nobody else, no radio personality gives out their number.
No.
Do you know that?
No, they don't.
I have been doing this. This number I've had since cell phone come out, since I reached 740 number. My wife told me to get that number. I have had that number since 740 number came out in this country. I give it out freely. And you know, people don't send me a topic to talk on. They don't. Send me a topic so that on a Thursday night at 7 o'clock, we start the discussion from the educational part of the topic, which will extend into the Friday night on the entertaining part of the topic. Because any topic you take with sex have three aspects: to inform, to educate, and to entertain. And that's what we've been doing. So if the listeners out there value this program, which a lot of them, I think they don't value it, because I will send a broadcast. Please give me a topic for tonight, and you know, not one. I know some people just send a thumbs up. I just have to tell person, do not respond if you don't have a question to ask me or a topic. And someone else to say, listening, I go share. I don't want you to tell me that. Honestly, it might sound rude, eh?
No,
I don't want you to tell me that this is the best program. Call management and tell them that. Call management of Power 102 and tell them that this is the best program. Then they will know the value of the program.
You can forward that message.
I can forward that message, and people will say, well, I tooted my own horn.
That's correct.
And when I ask you all via a text message, please tell me what you want me to talk about tonight. Don't tell me, I go share your broadcast. What are listening tonight? I don't want to know that. I am asking you for a topic. So if you want me to talk about anal sex, don't kind of divert my program. I talk about the clitoris. Don't divert what I'm talking about. Give me the topic for we to discuss Wednesday night, and make sure you tune in. A lot of people like to do that. They want to divert what I talk about. Yes, but I try to go back on track as much as possible, because that, now you notice I asked the angels what topic we're discussing tonight.
Yes, you did.
Somebody told them that Dr. Raj should talk about the clitoris. Now, they may not have known that we could do an entire program on the clitoris. They might think that it's just, you're talking about the clit. How much you go talk about the clit? That it feel good? Suck it and lick it and done with it? But there's so much different angles to the clit. And the clit is attached to the vagina. And the clit, there is a direct relationship between the clit, and I get a chance to finish. I want to finish the clit.
Yeah, because I mean.
When I'm working on the clit, I doesn't like to go elsewhere.
No, but no, that is where the fun, I mean.
You want me jumping all over? Well, right.
You see? And
when I walk on the clit.
As a matter of fact, the angel's interesting to what
right.
To say about
so when your mouth is buried in the clit, what do you do? On the clit, sorry. What do you do?
When your mouth is buried?
When your mouth is buried on the clit and the two knees are up on the woman's shoulder, or she has legs on top of your shoulder, what do you do?
Well, it all depends on how long it is.
Forget the length of the clit. It doesn't matter. We went through the three length of clit. Your mouth is working on the clit. What do you do? You could drown with the woman letting grow juice and thing, but forget that. What does the man do?
Lick it.
You're licking the clit, you're sucking the clit. I say all those things. You're licking the clit, you're sucking the clit, you're doing everything to the clit. What does the man do in that position? He's not a good sucker, boy. You take your two hands and you reach to the nipples. Because there's a direct connection between the nipples and the clitoris.
Well, look, I didn't even know that.
Well, I'm telling you. That's well, you learn something. So you're going to try it today.
I learned something. Let me see if I...
Yeah, you don't have to reach up there.
I'm about to get a short woman.
No. You can reach any woman. You can reach any woman breast. If you cannot reach a woman's breast while you're about on a clit, something is wrong with your hand. Your hand too short. That's all. Oh, she could twist her body so, you know, and you could still reach one at the breast.
Okay, as you...
And I'll tell you why you do that. Once you're stimulating the clitoris, and you play with the nipple in the right way, because there's a coordination of movement when you are performing oral sex on a woman. Now, licking is not the thing that women like, It's the sucking. Licking is for the vagina. You could lick the clit, stimulate it, and to apply saliva. But the sucking of the clit is what you want to do. And you have to know how to suck that. There's a vibration in sucking. There's a way of sucking the clit to make it feel as though you're jockeying the clit. Even the clit that is buried under the ring in a woman, which let's say 1/3 of the women out there have it.
Yeah.
If you stimulate that clit enough with the pressure of the tongue, it comes out. You could feel a knob inside there. You could feel that knob. So there's something coming out. The one inside of the ring will get a little longer, and the one outside of the ring will get long. It could go down your throat.
Could knock you out.
I need to swell up.
Swell up, yeah. It looks like a little penis.
Oh, it's swell wide. It's swell long. It's swell wide. It's swell up.
Yeah, but it does come out too.
True.
If you're sucking on it, it'll come out.
But not much.
No, that's correct. That was just a joke. That's the entertaining part. You should take it seriously. Wait!
It's swelling long, so what's it up like?
No, but what's the longest clitoris you ever see? Honestly.
Maybe 2 centimeters. 2 centimeters.
We have seen 2 and 3 inches.
I have seen.
I've seen a 4-inch clit already.
Ooh.
No, seriously. Yeah.
Yes, it was. To eat it.
Yeah, you could suck that like a mango.
Like a lollipop.
Seriously. I'll show it to you next week. I guarantee you'll see it.
Okay.
It's like this. It starts off like this, and then all of a sudden you see this thing coming out. So. She knows it. She knows it. So, once you start to stimulate the breasts of the woman, now some women you don't notice that when you perform, well, you've been only with one woman, but some.
Oh my God.
Yeah, hear him.
If you've been with one woman, you'll know what I'm talking about. But since you've been with only one, no, I'm just equating you to one of the listeners.
That was the time I wrap up in a
Oh God, he got back to that.
Yeah.
So, you never notice some women, when you suck in their clitoris, they start to play with their breasts and they're tweaking their own nipples.
Yeah.
All right. You ever try to figure out why? Because of the stimulation. So if you reach up and you're doing that to her, she have her free hands now to play with your head, pull your face inside, and manipulate your tail.
Yeah, she could draw. If it's a squirter.
Well, you have to learn how to breathe through your ears. Don't take that seriously. Please. You have to learn how to breathe through your ears when you're performing oral sex, because
well, of course,
your nose is buried.
Yeah.
If she have a little hair and thing, the hair all up in your nose, you're tickling you. And when women have pubic hair, let me tell you something, the advantage of pubic hair, and pubic hair is coming back here. A woman with pubic hair has the pheromone strap there. That is what you're getting, the pheromones. Pheromones from that area. So you have your fingers playing with that nipples, stimulating it the exact same way your tongue is working on the vagina. On the clitoris, sorry. And boy, she in paradise. Almost paradise.
He says finger licking good.
And yes, you could take one finger and put it inside the vagina and play with the G-spot. And you don't need your longest finger, you need your most comfortable finger.
Good. Let me write that down. Good finger.
No, your most comfortable finger because of the angle. If you're performing oral sex, more than likely is the middle finger that you'll get to go in there, because then you could actually get that rest and you're able to move the finger around. But don't push the finger too deep inside. Play with that area that is about 1 inch into the vagina. At the roof of the vagina, it's bean shaped. It has striations on it. It feels like ridges, like a scrubbing board. And it gets hard. That is the G-spot. That is the Grafenberg spot. That is the spot that gives the woman, it is equivalent to for the clitoris, the back of the clitoris. The more you play with it, and if you feel a sack filling with water at the back, not water, liquid, she going to squirt. Be careful for the eruption.
Yeah, when you sort of feel the bricks,
yeah.
like a drum.
No, well, if you are really into the person, you want that squirting to hit you because it's warm and nice. You ever had sex with a woman, and while having sex, that's all good too. That's part of it. You go on your knees.
Yeah.
Her buttocks is elevated. She's in a roseful position, and you're jabbing right on the G spot.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden you feel a hot liquid flying up your stomach, coming up to your chin. Like she's squirting on you. And there's some women who don't squirt like that. One squirt and that thing coming out with a pressure straight up to your chin. All you feel is this warm liquid coming up to your chin. What do you do? Get up and run?
No.
It's not a tsunami?
Yeah.
You bathe in it.
You bathe.
This is what I'm telling you. If you have never experienced it, and if you think them thing is yucky, you will never experience it.
No. But if you're thinking in terms...
If you're thinking in terms of something negative about those things and say that nasty, that
no,
yucky,
no.
then you will never experience it. So don't condemn it.
No, you lose out. Right,
Correct?
Angel? Correct is right. Right?
You go there just now. She got a hotel.
I find family quite...
All of a sudden,
yeah.
a bad vibe. They're doing your... They're doing you something in the middle there. This one...
This is not the family that I have been seeing for the last couple of weeks.
She started off well, but all of a sudden she boiled on like Badri.
You're going to tell her Shelly and us.
Well, that is what I wanted you to say. I asked her that, you know.
Yeah, but you remember I mentioned that a bit earlier on. Oh, okay.
So you see, there are so many aspects of this thing that called love making. That if you are myopic, is it safe to use a moisturizing cream on genital area? Yeah, unless it's otherwise stated.
Anyway, folks, taking our time, it's now 25 minutes before 12 o'clock. You are on the inside of Sexplosion on Power 2.1 FM with your host, Dr. Raj Brahmanan of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center out at St. Augustine, where he treats on sexual dysfunctions. Now, for those of you who would love to interact with him via the telephone, you can do that right now by simply giving him a call at 222-8255, also at 612-8255. If you are sending in a WhatsApp or a text message, you can also do that on his private mobile, 740-1961. Yep.
Now, there's another relationship between another part of the body, the clitoris and the breast, the nipples.
Clitoris and the nipples.
What is it? Chiran? What part of the body that there's an equivalence in terms of stimulation? I'll give you one hint. Bob Marley. Dum 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 dum.
Oh, wait and invade.
The toe.
Toe? Toe.
The toe of a woman or the toe of a man? The toe. Big toe. Sucking on the toe.
I never thought that.
I'm telling you that. No, the big toe. That's the one that directly connects to your clitoris and your nipple. You could suck all the toes.
But the big toe is...
But the big toe.
See, you hear that, eh?
So you see, every part of your body is related. There's a relationship. There's a relationship between different points in your body.
Yeah, but is it because your big toe is basically the leading toe in your foot?
No, it's because there's a direct nerve connection between
with
one to the other to the other. Anyway, you wonder why I say Bob Marley?
Yeah.
Football injury that causes death.
I never looked. Yeah.
Yes, so when you are making love, it's the same thing when you caressing a woman. There's some women who like to be caressed behind their neck. They'll tell you that's my weak spot. There's some women who, if you caress them on the back of their knee, they'll tell you that's their weak spot. Every woman has a different weak spot. But the weak spot, what they call a weak spot, is where they have the most amount of nerve stimulation. That's what it is.
Okay. Yeah.
So that part of the body is stimulated very easily if you touch that part to stimulate that part to reach other parts of the body. To bring about that sexual feeling.
I tell you.
So one of the things of being a good lover is knowing all the erogenous zones in a woman. And the woman should also know it in a man. Lots of time women don't take the time to learn the erogenous zone in a man. Even your husband, you ask them, so where's the erogenous zone in your husband? They have that? That is the answer. They have that? They don't know.
They don't.
The easiest thing to do is to perform fellatio, which is to give a blowjob. Now, in giving a blowjob, you don't blow into the penis.
No, yeah.
Don't ever try to blow into the penis because you'll kill the person.
It's like blowing in. You don't blow.
You don't blow in the vagina either.
Yeah.
No, that's a dangerous practice.
I know that well. Yeah.
You don't blow into the vagina.
Yeah, I know that well.
And you don't blow into the penis. You suck on the penis, so they should call it a suck job.
Yeah.
So it's not a BJ, it's a SK.
Yeah.
SJ.
SK? What are you talking about?
So when you do those things and you experiment with your partner and you experiment with different individuals, you will come to the understanding that, hey, this person like it this way, this person like it this way, this person like it that way. But you build up a repertoire of information so that for any time you touch someone in a particular area, you will realize what stimulates them or what doesn't stimulate them.
Yeah. Makes it, yeah.
You don't want to, and one of the things that you don't want to do is tickle somebody, because tickling does not stimulate a person.
No.
Tickling irritates a person. So don't go into tickling.
Yeah.
That irritates.
Tickling while you're having sex?
Don't use tickling as foreplay. And don't use tickling in your sex. No, you're going to turn the person off. There's some women who get very angry if you tickle them. There's some women who will get turned off. Well, the majority will get turned off because tickling is not a sensation for foreplay. It is not.
I can't see someone doing that anyhow.
Well, some men think that it is part of foreplay.
I can't see somebody.
Well, they think it is part of foreplay. So let me tickle you.
Yeah.
You're irritating the person.
Anyway, folks, taking our time, it's now 20 minutes before 12 o'clock. You are listening to Sexplosion on Power 2.1 FM with your host, Dr. Raj, rambling in of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center out at St. Augustine. And there he treats all sexual dysfunctions. And you got 20 minutes for those of you who would love to interact with him via the telephone. Simply give him a call, 222-8255, also at 612-8255. For those of you sending in text messages and WhatsApp messages, you can also do that on his private mobile, 740-1961. This program may contain material that is not suitable for children. Parental guidance, therefore advised. Yeah.
I thought you were lifting up for me to see. No, I thought that was it was. I'm sorry. If I have a...
Yeah, you got misguided.
The mind with the dirty man.
Yeah.
Not the man with the dirty mind. So, there are so many ways you can actually stimulate a woman. But once you understand, after all that stimulation, the vagina and the makeup of the vagina, the lips of the vagina. Now remember when I told you about the 52 different types of vagina? I remember when I was on television once, I had a chart with all the 52 different types of vagina, right? And people were blown away by it.
Yes, I remember.
Because they were photograph of all 52.
Yeah. It's all different.
I have it in the office somewhere.
All different forms of 52. Imagine that, 52.
Well, that's not much, when you think there's about 3.5 billion women in the world.
How many?
3.5 billion, half and half. So it's not that much. So your job in life is to seek out, to go where no man has gone before.
I am telling you,
to find
this is
strange new world
and
civilization.
As a matter of fact,
and to boldly go where no man has gone.
As a matter of fact, as you go along, you got to tick off.
No, you don't tick off.
No. How many?
You circle.
You circle well. Yeah.
You circle it. You say yes.
Number one.
Number two.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make sense seeing it and not satisfying it. Don't make sense?
No, no.
When you see it, you make sure it's properly satisfied and it's happy and it's, you know, it's jolly. And it's going to call you back again.
Yes, it will. And it's, you know something? And it's always better the second time around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Strange.
The first time there's something to prove. The first time there's always something to prove.
Yeah.
You have to prove your manlyhood. You have to prove your ability as a lover. There's something to prove. The second time around, there's nothing to prove. It's only to continue.
Right, yeah.
Lovemaking is a hell of a thing, you know.
Yeah.
So you have to take it in the phases that it's being offered to you.
Yeah, and don't rush.
Don't rush the brush. You'll get dabbed. You'll get dabbed.
Anytime you rush, you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, taking our time 16 minutes before 12 o'clock, you are listening to The Magic of Sex Education exclusively on Power 2.1 FM with your host, Dr. Raj Ramlanan of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center out at St. Augustine. Yeah.
You have anything there to read? Anyone else? Anything going on? Nobody listening to the program anymore? So we can close up and go man.
No.
No, if nobody listening, we could close up and go and they wouldn't know.
And it does taste like breast milk.
What does taste like breast milk?
The squirt thing, liquid.
I don't know what he tastes, but
like
Some kind of breast milky taste.
like what going on?
That's a good one. That is a good answer. What kind of breast milk it is? Rancid one. Right, it don't have that consistency or taste. Breast milk is sweet. Very sweet.
this.
Why twist in your face so?
I was just thinking out.
So wait, you have never had that?
Breast milk is close to goat milk.
You have never had breast milk? Tastes wonderful.
Yes, but
That's why you put your body through it. Some people breast milk don't taste nicer.
Well, I have had it. You have had that variety?
I've had good breast milk.
No. You made a statement. You made a
Yes, I
statement.
made a statement. Yes, I had someone already had horrible breast milk.
Well, like everything else, body odor and what you put into your body is what you get out of your body. And that's a fact. It's like a man, if you want a man's semen to taste good, if you want your semen or your secretion to taste good, engage in having things like pineapple, pawpaw, cranberry juice, coconut water. Those are the things that are going to give you a different taste. Same thing with a woman. But there are some women who smell very fishy, taste very fishy, it's because of their diet.
Oh,
Now,
okay.
I always say this, if a woman mouth to smell bad, expect down there to smell bad or taste bad. And I'm sorry to say that, but that's a fact. Because if a woman cannot take care of her oral hygiene,
Yeah.
what's she doing to her vagina?
Wow. And that's the worst thing to bounce up, man.
Is that somebody has something to say? Huh? You what? Yeah, well, they won't cut off before that. As Apple, you know it? They're not Samsung, you know.
alright. Alright.
Oh, well, he got the taste of the whipped cream. He didn't get the taste of the breast milk. But, where was I? Lost a train of thought. Telling me the battery percentage. We are 11:46. 10% is going to last until tomorrow. How do you know if a woman is actually squirting or just urinating? You would know.
Yeah, because some men might think, she's squirting. When did she think
there is urine mixed in with the squirting.
But it's good. Well, yeah,
Of course,
yeah,
because
well,
women do have a local valve. Men have a local valve.
Okay, what we are going to do is go back
No,
to the line.
we have a Y valve. Have to lock off, otherwise it will fill this floor.
Hi, hello, and welcome to Sexplosion. Good evening.
Thank you for being on the program. Dr. Raj, there's a sentiment out there that women who engage in oral sex, they have offensive breath, That's nothing to do with it. There's a sentiment out there. I don't know how
That
accurate
offensive
it is.
breath has nothing to do, halitosis have nothing to do with giving oral sex. So whoever said that,
There's a sentiment.
don't know anything about sex. So
Right.
Right, but that has nothing, you can't equate one with the other. Bad breath has to do with poor oral hygiene and poor gut. It comes from the gut. If you don't take care from here to down there, you're going to get a kickback. It's like a toilet system. You never smell sometimes that you get a kickback in the toilet because the septic tank not working properly. The bacteria in the septic tank not breaking down what is inside here. That is what is happening. So you get a kickback with the smell. Same thing with bad breath. It has nothing to do with oral sex. Whoever said that, talking crap.
Anyway, folks, taking our time, it's now 10 minutes before midnight. You are listening to Sexplosion on Power 2.1 FM. And just to remind you once again, Sexplosion next week will be on Thursday from 7 to 10.
No, not next week. No, sir. Don't give bad info. Next week Thursday is a holiday, boy.
Week after next.
Next week Thursday is a holiday.
I forget next week.
Corpus Christi.
That's correct, yeah.
Don't get tired.
I forget there's a
we started on 7.
As a matter of fact, we have 2 holidays coming up.
Back to back.
Yeah.
Indian arrival and Corpus Christi. Dr. Raj, I would like you to discuss next time why the penis of my friend pains after having sex. He's 76 years old. Okay.
76.
Yeah. Special good night, Dr. Raj. This is from, okay, Sunita.
This girl is alright. This angel is alright, you know.
Who's that?
This one here.
What
She's alright. Her mind always...
Yeah. Corrupted.
Always on track, boy.
Yeah.
And
She good at that.
And this is the quiet devil here. This one here.
When she get going, oh God.
No, but
I have to make sure.
You have to feed her first.
That is the first thing. She have to make sure she eat before she come.
Yeah, you have to feed.
I thought all sent for food. I got a message that all sending for food. Well, I if the driver is going out to get food, I do expect. So you see, this is another thing. I say whenever that is happening, all inform me. Nobody has ever informed me. If you don't inform me, nobody downstairs does do that. So whose fault is that? Had I known that, I would have known what to tell all you. I only work with information, you know. I don't work by guess. So give me the information.
You blew it.
Yeah.
You really
You notice how she dressed back? Because I always tell her, whenever you're doing that, make sure you inform me.
Reality just hit her there with a split second.
But it doesn't happen.
So you know what happened? It didn't happen again. She ain't making a mistake.
Because she'll get buff.
No family making a mistake. But my other
no, but that is, you see, there's a repercussion to anything. Had I known that, I would have put things in place or tell them what to do. Because you can't have the driver going out 3 and 4 times for one thing. That don't make sense.
One trip and that's it.
One trip and you do this.
Yeah.
You do it by a particular time and you move on from there.
Yeah.
That is what you call planning, but they don't plan. They do it. Everything is on spontaneity. What happened at the time, but not me. I plan stuff because I know what it is like to go out there and be in situations.
But anyway, not even know the drill.
No, you know the drill because you develop habits over time. You as a person develop habits over time, and you do things in a particular order.
But as you rightfully said, you can have somebody going back and forth.
No, you can't do that. No. Especially given the position.
Yeah.
But it's the same thing with sex. You can't go from step A to step Z and miss everything in between and say, I'll get back to that. You know? Because in foreplay, that's why a lot of women like foreplay and extended foreplay because it takes them to that point of having an orgasm. So even if the man is a premature ejaculator, with penetration, she's at the point of having an orgasm. So with penetration, she have the orgasm.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter now. She doesn't remain frustrated because the man breaks fast. And she lie down there and say, okay, when I'll get this thing done again, right? So the good foreplay, using, and again, you could use your finger, you could use your tongue, you could use your penis to stimulate the woman and then penetrate.
Mark Anthony Rampisoon says, love the topic, Dr. Raj. Suzanne Chase says, good night, Dr. Raj, just tuning in.
Just tuning in. Okay. You'll catch the tail end. What could I say? But it's better late than never. Eh?
But surely for the next program we have.
But there's not much education to go with the program now because I am winding down. And the reason for that, it's that time of the evening. I'm tired. I have jet lag. I flew from last night at 11:15 out of LA straight into Miami. From Miami straight into Trinidad. I went to work.
You went to work?
From the airport I went straight to work. Went home, didn't get to do all the things I wanted to do, and came here.
Well,
this was one of the things that I like to do, was to relax.
But you're going to have a good rest tonight anyhow.
I had to go and see my babies.
Yeah?
Babies? Babies?
Babies?
Yeah. Think whatever you may.
How old are they?
Think whatever you may. No, they're little plants.
Oh, I thought it was going to check the cat.
My plants. My plants. They're all blossoming. Love it, love it, love it.
Well, I know recently grown up.
They
roses and stuff? What kind of plants?
No, they germinated and they were all about 2 inches tall. Some have 4 leaves. Most of them have 2 leaves.
2 leaves.
Getting thick, the stalk getting thick.
You want as it get bigger, it get thicker, eh?
I know.
Now you're talking about the plants. I don't know what it is.
I know it's the first time I planted them, so I wouldn't know.
No, because I heard
yes, they do.
It was.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, they get, like everything else.
And you know, the rooting system is so good that they suck up all the water.
Well, anytime plants expand, they suck up the water. They do.
I deliberately said the word suck. I know. Well, you are a great agronomist, right?
No, plants do suck water.
You are one of those
and
great
the more
agronomists.
water the plants get, the bigger they get, eh?
What do people want? Water.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that kind of plant.
See what she perk up?
But she
She hears something.
It's almost time for it's 5 minutes to 12, eh?
It is?
Yeah, about 5 minutes. Yeah.
I didn't realize that.
So are we going to lime after it?
Me? No, sir. I just told you. My bed air wet.
No, on your way up, you might.
No. Your bed wet. Yeah, your bed always wet.
I know what to say. Your bed look like it don't.
You look like you don't have a bed. You look like you're asleep on the ground. They actually in school spell bed. She said what? They said the thing you're asleep on. She said B-A-G.
Family, you like that in truth? Yeah? Anyway, folks, taking more time. It's now 4 minutes before 12. Sexplosion on Power 2.1 FM. Sexologist, your host, Dr. Raj Yeah.
Hello, how are you? So, folks, remember that there are no Wednesday program anymore. Our program is now on a Thursday. The educational part of Sexplosion is on a Thursday from 7 till 9. And, of course, on Friday from 9 till 12 p.m. That is. You know, people still ask you, is p.m. or a.m.?
Yeah.
I've had people ask me that. When you send out a broadcast, program on tonight, 9 to 12, isn't it a.m.?
Did you send a broadcast there?
No, I didn't.
Because I didn't see anything.
No, that was deliberate.
I didn't see anything.
That was deliberate. You see, we have monitors.
Yes, we do.
So you have to be careful with some of the monitors.
Oh, yes, you do have to be careful.
You know, like the monitor snake.
How are you going there, Angel? I see you. Everything, I see you holding your stomach there. What's happening? Everything all right? The nails look nice tonight.
Pretty, eh?
Yeah.
And she did it herself, you know.
You did that yourself? Very good.
So proud of her.
Yes.
You sat up a little.
Yes, as a matter
she could do yours, you know.
I mean, go to the head of the class. It's nice.
From quite a you can't see. No, it's pretty, really pretty. She took her time and she did up her nails.
Beautiful. Nice. Yes, folks, Explosion on Power 2.1 FM. Nobody does better what we do best as we take sex education to a whole new level. With your host, Dr. Raj of Total Image and the Adult Therapy Center of the Augustine. Yeah.
Remember, folks, tonight's program is cut up on Facebook into 3 segments, and that's because we have challenges with our internet connection. So if you want to view the entire program, you'll need to look at all 3. With that, folks, a pleasant good night. Angels.
Good night.
Until next week, when we are back with Sexplosion on Power 102 next Friday. Good night, folks.
You've been listening to Sexplosion. You've been listening to Sexplosion on Power 102.1 FM with Sexologist and your host, Dr. Raj of Total Limit. Well, here's where I make my exit as well. And folks, those of you on the roadways, please remember, driving is a privilege. If you're good to it, it's gonna be good to you. Don't drink and drive. So until next time, I'm Junior Saldana, family. Take care of yourself and each other. Do have yourselves a beautiful day tomorrow. Hey, look, love you.